Hey everyone, welcome to the third quarter Stonecast. A little bit more of a crowded room here.
Yep.
Emily's here. We have Scott at the end, and we have Ed right in the middle. So we're back. We're here to talk about the third quarter. Overall, company wide, doing good. I mean, it's been kind of. I think a lot of trucking companies are experiencing this right now, good and bad, right? So. And that's us. That's us in a nutshell. There's some really great things going on within our company right now. And there's some areas that we need to improve. And I think we have a good leadership team. We have, great leadership from a safety standpoint, from a maintenance standpoint, from an HR standpoint, Matt with our finance, our accounting department. We have a lot of good people working hard and obviously all of our drivers and technicians in the shop. So,
Right.
a lot of things to improve upon, but there's also some really, really great things going on right now. Third quarter, it was an okay quarter, but again, I'm seeing some really good things happening, some really good lanes, some really good, some really good things coming together, which are going to kind of propel us into the fourth quarter,
Right.
and really, make 2026 hopefully, a really great year. But speaking of great things, right? One good thing that we always like to celebrate at the end of every quarter is
Our Stone Spotlight. So, each quarter we celebrate and highlight our drivers, mechanics, our support staff, and we like to take the opportunity here to kind of go over who the selection is going to be for that quarter. So for our driver of the quarter for Q3, we selected Jesse Denstadt. Jesse's been here for quite a while now, and always dedicated, helpful, keeps a positive attitude. Recently, he's been very helpful with our training. We've had a lot of new guys come in, and he's really taken them under their wing and made sure that they possess the same, stone qualities that we want to see in each of our drivers.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Jesse.
one thing that I
thank
love
you.
with Jesse. I mean, you and I
have.
like Jesse as far as like specking of like, hey, ideas on equipment, ideas of like, I remember Ed, he was in your office just like, hey, I got some ideas, right? And I love that. Right?
Yeah, no, I've had really good conversations, a couple with Jesse. He really knows our equipment, knows what we do, and has good ideas, that are focused around operating more safely and better overall.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. And again, anybody within our organization, there's no such thing as a bad idea. In my mind, there's really no such thing as a bad idea, whether it comes to becoming safer
Right.
or becoming more efficient or anything like that. So yeah, I truly appreciate, those conversations that you'll have with Jesse, and he's, just a tidbit here, tidbit there. This might help, this might be better. And yeah, congratulations, Jesse.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So going into our mechanic of the quarter, this quarter we chose Mike Dotson out of the Saginaw shop. Ed can talk a little bit to Mike, but he's just been such a hard worker, been able to share all his knowledge with everybody here in the Saginaw shop and beyond. But if you've got a few words for Mike.
Yeah, Mike is a rock solid mechanic. He's been with us a while now, I think over 10 years. He is the epitome of somebody we want in our shop. When Tom Murphy, our Saginaw shop lead, is out, when he's busy, Mike's kind of that next in command, really takes control of what's going on. Does a fantastic job repairing equipment, cares about putting stuff back on the road the right way the first time. And I'm very, very happy for him to win this. I think he's had a really, really strong, last 3 months, even the last 6 months. So really, really pleased that he was selected for this.
It's great. Every time you walk out in the shop, Mike's there, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I love is like Mike is there. Like, and if there's ever like an ask, like, hey, it's always like, hey, what can I do? How can I help? What needs done, and coordinates, and but what a solid star up there and up in Saginaw.
Agreed 100%.
Yeah.
He is a fantastic employee to have on our team.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So going into our support staff of the quarter, we chose to highlight Dean Cook, our payroll manager. Dean, again, another one that's been here for forever, over 25 years. And anytime you've got a question, a concern, he's always, quick to get you the answer, point you in the right direction. But yeah, highlighting, Dean we get multiple nominations a quarter for Dean. So
Yeah. Dean's kind of always been behind the scenes, has
Mm-hmm.
just always been a consistent, hardworking member of Stone. I mean, there's, I've been with Stone for 13 or 14 years now, and there's been some times where, prior to Matt, who's now our controller, Dean was expected to do a lot of heavy lifting and come in on times when, and to process payroll when, he shouldn't have been, but he did it, right?
Right.
He came in and helped make sure all of our employees got their payroll processed. It was correctly done. And I mean, Dean's been a rock at Stone. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that he got nominated. It's awesome.
Absolutely. So that kind of wraps up our spotlights for the quarter. And as always, we will, get a plaque out to our recipients, as well as a gift card, kind of to just, appreciate those that are real rock stars for us.
Yep.
And then as far as some other rewards, things, and programs we've got going on, we'll highlight some of our safety incentive program winners and our attendance and safety bonuses at the end of the podcast. So, keep watching, make it to the end so you can kind of see your name if you're eligible, as well as the drawings and things
Yep.
like that. We'll go towards the end.
Yep.
But
Congratulations to all those that won.
Yep.
All those that put their hard work in, that got the perfect attendance from a maintenance standpoint, from our in-plant standpoint. All those drivers that got the safety bonus that qualified for it, and then
Yep.
obviously those that got won the drawing,
Right.
which is great.
Yep.
So, but kind of the reason why we wanted to expand out, just to not have Emily and I being here, we've always envisioned the Stonecast going just beyond Emily and I talking, right? We wanted to invite customers and other employees throughout Stone that are, whether they're driving or whether they're leading a department, and just have a conversation about, their experiences and what they do each day and all that. So I think one thing, as the president, one thing that we've really put a focus on is maintenance and safety. I mean, those are like the backbone of any trucking company, right? Like, if you can't be safe, you're not going to be on the road. If the trucks aren't working, the trailers aren't working, you're not going to be on the road. It's a big, you can have the best drivers and the best technicians and all that. You can have everything great, but if we're not doing it safely and we're not getting things repaired and maintaining it properly, there's really nothing to our company. So we want to just talk about that. I think, over the years, it's gotten away from us. From a safety standpoint and from a maintenance standpoint. And I think we've really struck gold with finding two people that really know this field really well and know how to lead this department and bring impactful changes. And so,
help change the culture.
Yeah. Create a safety culture and create a well-ran maintenance department that's supporting its greatest customer, our drivers, right?
Yep.
So, first things first, Scott, I just want to talk with you. When we talked, when we were, talking about coming on with Stone Transport,
Yep.
your background is what sold me, right? So just kind of give me an idea. How did you get to Stone? What's your background? How did you find Stone?
So, like we talked about before, been in safety 26 years, 15 of those with Michigan State Police. I've actually stopped Stone a couple times.
Did we pass those inspections?
You did not.
Okay, there we go.
But after I got out of the state police, I started with rush trucking, started in the lower levels, hours of service. Worked my way up to become a safety director at Hollingsworth Chieftain. Was there 5 years and then moved on to a couple other companies. Last company I was at, Matrix, we went through a change in ownership and stuff, and that's when I found that Stone was looking for a safety director. So applied. I think it was a great opportunity to build my resume out more and get into a place where I saw there was a need for a strong safety culture.
Yep.
So it's been a great 5 weeks so far.
Right.
You know, interesting 5 weeks.
He's drinking from a fire hose for the
Yeah.
most part right now. And again, I think that's what I really liked about Scott was the fact that, you know, his knowledge from the standpoint of, you know, coming from the state trooper,
Right.
being a state trooper, in the commercial space, right? In the commercial vehicle space. I mean, that was your background of that, of how to help our drivers, right? When they're getting inspected, right?
Exactly.
Properly, keeping your equipment in working order and proper working order, so we can start going through these inspections with flying colors. I think a lot of CSA violations that we incur, a lot of it comes back to knowledge, right? Like there's a lot of knowledge that goes by, and I think we got a lot of great drivers, but you know, they just may not have that knowledge of, hey, I need to look for this, do this right, do this right, do this right. And I, you know, when we were talking, it was like, this is the guy that can help us get to that level, I feel.
Right.
Well, the big thing is training, right? So
Yeah.
it starts with your orientation, then it goes into getting with your drivers. You know, I don't like to say that we're a safety department, we're a training department, right? So having that different aspects for the drivers to see us as not a enemy,
Yeah.
right? Which most companies are, right? Doesn't mean we're not going to slap your hand every once in a while, but that's not our job.
Right.
Our job is to give you the training, make sure that you have all tools in your toolbox to make it home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to get stopped, right? It's going to happen. Every trucking company out there is going to get stopped. But teaching them how to interact with law enforcement, be out there and have all your equipment. You know, you did your pre-trip, you did your in-route inspection, you did your post-trip. If you get stopped, go ahead and inspect my truck. All right, have fun, right? We want those clean inspections. I want you to get stopped because I need those clean inspections. But teaching those drivers how to do a proper pre-trip and relay that to our maintenance department, to their operations team, saying, "Hey, listen, I have a bad tire. I can't go down the road that way, right? Don't be afraid to contact operations and say, hey, I can't do that."
Yeah.
That's a big, huge thing where a lot of companies will push the driver to, we'll just go to the next truck stop or do that. Well, that's when you're going to get stopped,
Yeah.
right? In those little tiny windows there. So if we take that out of it and we let them know it's okay to say, I can't drive that equipment, right? Then they'll start trusting us more in the safety department, maintenance department, operations. That builds that safety culture. And now when we get stopped, we get those clean inspections.
And that's what I liked when we were having the conversation, early conversations, first 5 weeks, was just, we're here to coach and train, right? We're not here to slap hands and to do, we're here to coach and train. We're here to make impactful change, which is the most important change. Make our people, make our people safer. So that way the public we're operating around, they're safer, and our driver, our people on the road, they're safer. Our people in our shops are safer. At the end of the day, everybody goes home to their families with some coin in their pocket, which is great. But most important thing, they did it safely. So
exactly.
But before we go down too far, when we start talking safety, we also got to talk maintenance because they kind of go hand in hand. Ed's been, you're more than a year now, right?
Year and a month.
Year and a month. So Ed's been, he's now firmly planted, but just give us a backstory. A lot of you know your face and seen you around, but give us a backstory. Where you come from?
So I got into maintenance when I was 17, working for a small trucking outfit called Rumble Trucking up in the Thumb. I was just a PM guy. I did tires. I slung whatever I could for the shop lead that would yell constantly at me because I didn't know what I was doing. Took a little break, went to college, got a degree, started working for Penske Truck Leasing, worked my way up into there, running a shop for them in Plymouth, Michigan. Moved over to another company, running their breakdown department. Promoted up to a director of maintenance, overseeing 5,800 pieces of equipment, close to 2,200 tractors, 3,000 trailers, and some forklifts on top of that. So, kind of got hooked up with Stone when I seen they were looking for a new vice president of maintenance. Chatted with Bobby, chatted with Jay, and really liked what you guys were doing here and thought I could make an impact on the maintenance side. I seen a lot of places where we could gain efficiencies, places where we could grow and change a culture that was already really good, but just needed some refining, and 13 months in, and I think we're still making a ton of changes.
Oh, yeah.
It never
yeah.
ends.
I had a mentor that I worked with previously that always stated, you always have to continuously improve. It was part of our mission statement, was through focusing on continuous improvement.
Yeah.
It was always the intent to make changes, make quality improvements constantly, and fail, right? Come up with ideas. It might fail. That's okay. But as long as you're trying to improve your situation, you're doing the right things. And that's what I'm trying to do here, right? With the maintenance department, building PM programs, some other things we're going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I think that we've made a ton of strides. I think there's still a long way to go still though for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, for sure. Well, I mean, let's get into that.
Right.
About the PM program.
Yeah, talk to us about what it looks like right now. Kind of take us through that journey.
Yeah, we didn't have a bad PM program before. Just coming from a larger organization and a lot of different things that they do, and some other organizations I've worked for did as well, is we took our PM program and took it from doing 1 annual to 2 annuals a year to doing an annual on every single service, right? Whether it's a trailer PM or a tractor PM, we're doing an annual. Within that, we're checking a lot of areas. So when you do like a tractor PM, if you're not doing an annual, you're generally dropping oil, doing some greasing, but you're not maybe checking everything. So we changed that program to, you're looking at your kingpins, you're looking at all your wear points, you're checking electrical, you're checking your batteries, doing all those types of things. Same thing on the trailers. We're focusing really heavily on greasing trailers, right? Putting grease on trailers, checking tires, checking brakes, doing those types of things, and doing trailer PMs every 90 days, tractor PMs every 120 or 25,000 miles. Trying to drop oil as often as possible on tractors. We're a heavy duty cycle on these things. We put a lot of work on them, a lot of weight. So it's good to try to maintain those, and getting them in more often for an annual should help us on our safety side.
Right.
Right. Showing that we're doing that constantly and repetitively throughout a year versus,
and for our drivers to hear that and see that, it just gives them a little bit more trust in, our maintenance side as well. So
Definitely.
Yeah. And we're I mean, the one thing that we're doing is we're tracking it really well, right? I think that's one area where we noticed that we were like, we needed to improve.
Yep.
Like we didn't know, okay, where all these pieces, we had a lot of trailers, got a lot of trucks out on the road. Right. And so we weren't really tracking very well.
Yeah.
But you came in and like, okay, we got to change this.
Yeah. We have a PM report, a weekly PM report we run. It is by shop, by driver group. We actually have a scorecard, KPIs built around it now. Shout out to the Decatur team, who has the highest tractor and trailer PM score out of any of our shops.
Nice.
Doing a fantastic job. They're over 90% on their tractors, over 85% on their trailers, which is really good. Industry standard is 90% to 85% overall. So they're above and beyond that. We have the Detroit shop doing a fantastic job. Saginaw shop on their tractors doing awesome. We're still working out where we struggle a little bit is our non-shop locations, right? The Southern Ohio's, the Indianas of the world right now, just getting them into shops, making sure we focus on those and focusing with breakdown on getting those units scheduled into a vendor, getting them done.
And
right?
I mean, since we started the PM program, one thing that I noticed has somewhat consistently changed is the clean inspections. And I know, Scott, obviously newer to Stone here, but prior to your getting clean inspections was kind of few and far between. But now we're starting to see it a little bit more, starting to see a little bit more consistency in actually getting clean inspections, which part of me kind of goes, I think the PM program is definitely an influence on that. Obviously our drivers, right. Keeping a good eye on their equipment pre-tripping and post-tripping it, but clean inspections, big CSA, right? It's a big deal. So just talk to me, from your perspective when getting these clean inspections, what's its impact on our CSA score?
So, CSA is, it stays on our score for 2 years. Right? But what I don't think people don't understand is that there's a point system to it, right? So tires, brakes, and lights are your hugest ones that always hit your score, right?
Yep.
That's what you're going to get stopped for. So doing those pre-trips, those in-route inspections are huge, right? Anytime you stop, do an in-route, check your lights and your tires, right? You're not going to check your brakes. You already checked them. But the tires, with the point system, you get 10 points for a tire, right?
Yep.
Well, that first 6 months of CSA, they add 3, right? Or they multiply by 3. So that's 30 points.
Yep.
So if you have more points going on your score at the end of the month than falling off, then your scores go up, and then that's how you get in trouble. So having those clean inspections, they fight that point system,
helps
right?
bring it down,
So
right?
it brings it down. So we want those clean inspections, right? We have an award system for it. It's $150 for each one. It doesn't mean going to the scale house and ask for one, right?
Right.
I'm gonna need a new pair of
Don't do
shoes,
that.
so I'm gonna go in. Please don't do that. All right, you just challenge the officer.
Right.
But if you get those, I want to give you as many $150 gift cards, or how we put it on your payroll or whatever. I want to give that out as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
That helps our score.
And that's not, it doesn't matter what level of inspection that is.
Correct. Right. But what that does is when we're in the scale house and they see that we got clean trucks going through there, officers remember, right? So when if you're in the scale house and you got a stone coming across and you're finding something wrong with them every time, who do you think I'm going to stop every time I see, right? I'm going to stop Stone.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get something. Bad thing about gravel trains, you're probably going to find something. But if we can keep it away from the tires, away from the brakes, away from the lights, then those scores are minimal, and we could probably data queue a lot of that and get it out of there.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're seeing that kind of stuff and they start seeing, hey, they're coming across clean, they're probably going to wave at us. Right?
Yep.
They're not going to be, oh, here Stone comes again.
It's not a big red flag coming
Right.
through.
And what's one thing I remember you told me, it was we were talking, what's one thing that officers hate doing with gravel trains?
Crawling them.
Yeah.
Hate calling them.
Don't give them a reason to crawl,
Don't
right?
give them a reason to crawl, right? I mean, that's
Which goes back to the lights, tires, right?
Yep.
Just those little things, right? Of keeping that. I mean, going back to kind of the equipment side. I mean, one thing that is super important is cycling equipment, right? So Ed, you and I work quite a bit on this, and Jay of kind of planning out. But if you just want to touch on what we've done this year, and
Yeah, so this year, through 2025 so far, we have bought 64 new tractors, close to 70 new trailers. I don't have that exact number. I should have looked it up before I came here, but it's in the 70s. It's a good amount.
yep,
We're still cycling in some new equipment. We've got some new medium duty tractors in Saginaw that we're working on getting out to the fleet right now. The main goal here is to keep good equipment on the road and cycle it out before it becomes a safety issue, before it becomes an issue of breaking down constantly. And then we're stuck on the side of the road. Guys aren't making it home when they want to.
yeah,
Having a good, a 4 to 5 year cycle on our tractors, trailers are a little bit tougher, right? They don't break down as quickly and as easily as an engine does on a tractor, but putting a good cycle on our trailers, swapping out, getting new equipment for our operations to make sure that we can operate safely and effectively is key for me.
Yeah,
and
no,
for us
and-
at Stone.
and I know myself, and obviously Dean Darby who owns Stone. I mean, he's 100% behind. Like, you got to keep the equipment fresh. You got to keep it up. If you don't do that, I mean, it's reflective in your CSA scores.
definitely.
It's reflective in your drivers' attitudes.
Right. We want them to,
Yeah.
feel good about what they're driving down
Driver
on the road.
retention.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That
it's
helps.
huge. So it's obviously a very important plan that we try to execute every year. So
Yes.
and we'll always continue to do that. We're talking about once or twice a week. It seems like just, okay, what's kind of next, and making sure we're staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
just one thing I want to, touch on, Scott and I, we're chatting about just how to continue to build that safety culture. And, one thing that I know there's a lack of right now is the knowledge piece, right? The knowledge piece, we haven't really, as a company in my mind, really like fully grasped, okay, we gotta be better educators on where we need to improve so we can become safer. So,
Right.
we've talked about what we're going to be doing, but just at the 10,000 foot level, about the how we're going to start doing some toolbox talks and safety meetings.
Yeah. So one of the things, this is a great setup right here. So
Yeah.
getting those monthly safety meetings out there, toolbox talks, right? So something that we could bring to the drivers, focus on stuff that we're seeing out there of whether it's work comp issues or truck accidents or
Sure.
whatever, right? So start focusing on, hey, we're seeing this. We need to start focusing on that. Giving tips, letting the drivers know that we are aware of what's going on so that we're giving them the information that will help them get through their day a little safer and a lot better.
And we're going to see some changes throughout our shops and whatnot. I mean, we've already talked about it, Ed. From Scott sharing some of his institutional knowledge, his knowledge of and his experience. Talk about some of the changes at the shops.
Yeah, so we're instituting safety zones in the shop, trying to be, put people in a place where it's safe to be in the shop, right? We have a lot of, there's moving parts, there's tire guns, there's welding, there's torching going on that, there can be an accident, right? It's not something on purpose, but people can get hurt, and we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. You're going to see a lot of new painting lines going in. Saginaw's already started. If you come up to Saginaw here, there's refresh painting going on the floor, on all the bollards outside in the shop. We're safety glasses in the shop at all times now. That's going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, but we run gravel trains. You go underneath of that, and there's just dirt falling constantly and gets in your eyes, things like that. Safety glasses help prevent that. And safety vests on the yard. That's going to be a big one. We operate 24 hours a day in some locations, and almost all of our locations. And we're coming up onto the time of year where it's not light out until 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it gets dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock, right? And people moving through the yard need to be visible.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big one. You'll see all of us when we're on a yard in safety vests, and my hope is that everybody else is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the important thing that everybody needs to realize when it comes to safety, right? Some of the things that you do would be like, well, why do I need safety glasses? Why do I need a high vis vest? And again, it may seem like it may seem silly, right? To you, like, well, there's no one near me. I'm in the middle of a yard. It's to prevent, you start building the habit, right? You start building the habit of, okay, think how can I be safe first? Because it will prevent the catastrophic event, right? And that's what we're always trying to prevent, that catastrophic major event. And if it doesn't just become part of like a daily habit,
right,
that catastrophic, and I'm not talking about, a death or something like that. I'm talking about stuff like, crawling underneath a truck, a gravel train. And I don't want any of our techs to have something go in their eye and it causes serious eye damage and something happens to them long term. I mean, I would hate to have that for any of our techs or, so, and we've talked about this, like we obviously encourage driver and tech communication. We love that. Like that's super important. You guys need to be in sync about, hey, I had this, I need this repaired. 100%. Those conversations, let's just do those in the kind of the safe zones. Just because, you hear the horror stories, right? Scott has shared some horror stories. We don't need to go into it, but has shared some horror stories in just things that you wouldn't even think would have happened, right? And that's what we're trying to prevent. It's not to discourage any type of communication. Let's just do that communication in a safe area. Less warm bodies in a highly stressed zone, right? A shop is that, the better, right? We don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want anybody to get hurt. So most important thing. So you're going to see some changes, which they're great changes. I get it. To some people, they may seem silly, but trust me, it's not silly if something bad happens, right?
Right.
And that's ultimately what we're trying to prevent. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of just closing out, our conversations. What do you think is something that all employees on both the maintenance and the safety side, like what are things we can actively do, right now to kind of help with maintenance or safety efforts to continue to change that culture?
We have to hold each other accountable, right? From a driver, from a mechanic, from an office management perspective. See something, say something. And then if you have an issue with your truck, with your trailer, communicate. The EDVIR process is a huge thing that we've added. It's made worlds of changes for us in the shop with getting the right information out, especially on the breakdown side too. I know there's still some challenges with it at times with drivers, and we continue to work through those, but I would say that 95 to 99% is going well, right? And that's a big piece of it is just communicating your issues, working through them together, and being a team, right?
Yeah.
Working together as a team as a whole. So.
Yeah. Scott?
So on the safety side, communication always, right? If you don't know something, ask, right? There's no dumb question. We are there to support you, right? That's the safety department's job. But that goes for our operations team as well, right? Ask for the training. If you don't know something, ask us, right? I will sit down with anybody at any given time. You want to call me at 2:00 in the morning because your logs are messed up and you don't know how to do something, call me up. I can fall back asleep, no problem. Right? But the training that the next 90 days are going to be huge for us, right? All the changes that we're making with training. We've already changed our orientation process and added more safety stuff in that. Getting our operations involved in that safety culture, right?
Yeah.
Making us, one team, one culture. That's always the hardest part of safety is changing that culture because we're so used to doing something and nobody likes change.
Yep.
But if you start seeing, the biggest thing for operations is when they start seeing that the trucks are running more because we're not getting stopped, the equipment's not breaking down. That's when operations is like, oh, okay, yep, it's working.
Yeah, things are working.
Yeah.
Drivers, it's a little bit different. They're more of, I'm not getting stopped on the road, right? We're making it home. We're making our money.
Yep.
Operations isn't yelling at me to hurry up. So, because the truck's running.
Yeah.
Right? It's moving. We're not getting stopped. So if we can keep that culture through the top down, right? It starts with you. And if everybody follows it, you'll start to see more operations. We'll start getting more.
Yeah.
And then more business comes in. And then you start, and once you have that culture built, the safety department should be sitting there going, what am I doing today?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and safety's big. I mean, when it comes to some of our customers, and if you look at a company like Nucor, go look what they do.
Yep.
I mean, they will shut down an entire steel mill. They will have a safety stand down because of a near miss.
Right.
Right.
They will shut the entire mill down for an entire day. I mean, that's millions upon millions upon millions of dollars that they're willing to sacrifice because there was a near miss or there was an incident.
Right.
So, I mean, it's something that we are now really going to take it to another level, which I'm super happy to be a part of. And one thing that, in closing, what Ed said was the see something, say something, right?
Yeah.
We are so dispersed as a company. We have, people that do park at some of our terminals and get a lot of face to face, but we are so dispersed. We have some of our employees and some of our drivers that are, out on islands, right? They're kind of, operating in an island. They may never make it to our headquarters or to a shop.
Right.
And again, that's where we need our people to, our drivers, our techs. If you see something unsafe, if you think it's unsafe, say something, right? Like more eyes that are out there that are going, you know what? This doesn't smell right. This doesn't look right. This isn't right. Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because ultimately by you doing that, you potentially prevented something bad happening, right? For you prevented, one of your coworkers from having an accident or having an issue. And that's winning right there all day long if we can do that. So I just want to leave that with everybody from I guess from me is if you see something, don't be afraid to say something and make sure that it gets followed up on. It's super important that we follow up on it and it gets solved and it gets, it avoids a potential issue. So, but appreciate the conversation all.
Definitely.
We'll hopefully do this more. We want to make sure that we're getting different faces and names, into the Stonecast and talk about important topics. And honestly, what a better way to start this kind of new phase of this is by talking safety, talking maintenance.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
appreciate it all. Thank you all. See you next quarter.